welcome to Chantex Multimedia live streaming to your device right from sunny Brisbane. Well, breaking news, Queensland is declaring Perth, Peel and southwest region of Western Australia hotspots following confirmation of COVID-19 case acquired by a patient working in a quarantine hotel. Anyone who has been in those areas or who arrives in Queensland from 6 p.m. tonight will be required to go into 14 days mandatory hotel quarantine. This time frame may change as more information is received. The Western Australia outbreak. So anyone who is already in Queensland but has been in Perth or Peel or southwest region since 25 January should come forward and get tested and isolate until they get a negative result. You can check the Queensland Health website for more information, but you may want to isolate your accommodation and seek the test early. If you have been in those areas of Western Australia since 25th of January, please go out and help the community and get yourself tested and then isolate until you get your result. So that's an update there from Queensland Government and Queensland Health. Of course, we have done very well, all enjoying the reduced restrictions, but we must take care. If you have been in those areas, a simple thing is get a test done and you'll know for yourself as well and of course for the sake of the community as well. Well, what a great weekend this has been. So much happening already. So we attended GOPIO Gold Coast Indian Independence Day celebration, which is the main feature of today's live stream, which we will be featuring very, very soon. And of course, we attended the launch of the premiere of Different Worlds. And once again, Amit, congratulations on a very successful launch and a complete houseful, sold out launch. He was a bit worried in the very beginning as to the numbers that we will get. So, we managed to get the house full for the launch, the premiere of Different Worlds, and everyone clapped towards the end. So that meant that, it's a wonderful production and we need to go and support that production because that was episode 1. For the series to continue, they do need our help and we do need to go and help our budding young stars when they're doing so much out there. And of course, yesterday, we hosted the second Music Junction, and what a wonderful and successful event that was. Savi did a wonderful job of hosting and putting together that show, and of course Chandan Das and Manju Verma as and of course our guest artists. Of course, very well received, and if you haven't watched it, go back and you can watch it, and please do share that around, like our pages, and so that you are updated whenever we go live and whenever there is anything. Well, before we get into the main show for today, let's take a very quick look at what's happening with the weather in Queensland and Brisbane. With that, let's welcome Dilraj.
Good morning, everyone. Weather forecast for the rest of today is maximum 29 degree. Brisbane area is partly cloudy with medium chance of showers, most likely later tonight. Winds east to southeasterly 15 to 25 km per hour, becoming light in the evening. Fire danger is low to moderate. Sun protection is recommended till 10 past 4 in the evening, and UV index is predicted to reach 13, that is extreme. Till tomorrow, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you very much, Dilraj, for that. This news comes here as the courtesy of Channel 7, the Queensland Update First Up.
I need a sound check. Chief Superintendent Mark Wheeler, District Officer, Gold Coast Police District. Thanks everyone for being here this morning. As you're aware, at 1 a.m. this morning, the Greater Sydney area was undeclared as a COVID-19 hotspot, meaning that everyone from that Greater Sydney area can enter Queensland without a border declaration pass. And of course, the other piece of that is that our border checkpoints have been removed as at 1 a.m. this morning. You'll see behind me here in Griffith Street, it's essentially been returned to its original condition. That's the same for most of our current checkpoints, or most of our former checkpoints, with the exception of the M1 and the Gold Coast Highway. We need to do further restoration work there tonight. So from 7 p.m. this evening, the northbound lane of the M1 will be shut to remove the concrete barricading. The marquee that was there covering the M1 was removed last night, but we just need to close that M1 down for a few hours so that we can remove the concrete barriers. Traffic will be diverted to the Gold Coast Highway during that period. Then at 11 p.m. we will move over to the Gold Coast Highway and remove the concrete barricading from that area. So traffic will be diverted to the M1 northbound lane. So by 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, you will not even know we were here. Everything will be removed, which we're very grateful for. In terms of this operation, today is day 42, so our second iteration of border closing lasted for 42 days. And during that time, we saw some 1,000 vehicles containing approximately 2,000 people refused entry into our state. Now, for the total operation, if we go back to the 26th of March last year, for the 292 days that we were operating, we saw over 1.2 million vehicles intercepted. We saw some 14,600 vehicles refused entry, containing over 23,000 people. In terms of our border declaration pass system, some 6.85 million applications were applied for in the system. So it's an astonishing number of people, of moving parts that have had to take place to keep COVID-19 out of Queensland. Now, everyone's aware of or I assume most people are aware of the declaration that was made with respect to Western Australia. The areas of Metro Perth, Southwest and Peel, containing some 46 local government areas, have been declared as a COVID-19 hotspot. And what that means for Queensland is if you're travelling from Western Australia, that's anywhere in Western Australia, you will need a border declaration pass to come into Queensland. If you're intending on travelling from one of those hotspots that's on the website, you will need an essential reason to do so. For instance, if you're a returning Queensland resident, that's okay, you can come back to Queensland, but you must do so by air, and you must enter our state via an airport, and therefore you need to go into a quarantine hotel at your own expense. And to make sure that we're scrutinising appropriately, there will be a police presence at all our airports, including Coolangatta, and at Coolangatta we intend to meet all flights coming in to make sure we don't have anyone coming in from a COVID-19 hotspot. So that's really important. So please, if you're coming from Western Australia, if you're in a hotspot and you want to come here for a holiday, now's not the time to do that. I'd just like to thank certainly the community for their understanding and patience over the last 42 days. We know that we've had an impact on the community, particularly around the Coolangatta Tweed areas. So I do thank them for that. I'd also like to thank particularly our partner agencies, the State Emergency Service, Transport and Main Roads, the Rural Fire Service, and really importantly the City of Gold Coast, who've assisted us with so much infrastructure to put into play here.
So basically that is good news that the restrictions are easing, and of course we need to remain vigilant as has been said, and we need to maintain as much safe procedures as much as possible. So moving on, here's how everything turned out in Queensland in a nutshell.
Anastasia Palaszczuk wants the federal government to stop all flights between Australia and China.
I think we should take every measure possible to combat this virus.
The World Health Organisation has declared the coronavirus a public health emergency.
You need to restrict your non-essential travel and stay close to home.
The Queensland border will close tomorrow night at midnight to all non-essential travellers.
The first task, flatten the curve. Second task, lift the line so that we can, in our hospitals, deliver the level of healthcare we need.
I need everyone to do their part, and as much as possible now over the coming weeks and months, I need you to stay near your village. Well, in some further good news for Queensland, we've had 0 cases overnight. So Queensland has done a mighty job. Queensland, you're good to go.
Happy Pub Day.
People will drive by this weekend, see people sitting at tables, and everybody else will know we're open.
We're smashing the curve here in Queensland. And because Queenslanders are doing so well, it'll probably mean we'll be able to open up our cafes and restaurants a whole lot earlier.
It's amazing. And I hope around the
are really lucky to live in Queensland, in somewhere that is so beautiful that we can have amazing staycations and holidays within our own state.
We are able to do this because Queenslanders have done such a great job.
When Anastasia said, get out and see Queensland, we decided to come.
Get in the
Pack
car
up
and
get out.
come and have a look.
Sure, it affects business, but people don't understand that health and the economy go hand in hand. It's not one or the other.
Exactly. We will be mandating masks in those areas.
I don't know that I've ever seen that in my career, that you can stand up and ask people to do something and people immediately do it.
If we do not do this now, it could end up being a 30-day lockdown.
And for all this, we say thank you. Thank you to each and every Queenslander.
I think it's very important that we think about the journey that we've all been on over the past year, where our lives have changed. But we've come through this together, we've come through it stronger, and we'll continue to do that every single day.
Queensland, you are good to go as always. So well done, and everyone's done very well on their part to make it happen the way it has in Queensland. Of course, we know that many other states had to go through even tougher lockdowns as well. Well, right now, a neighbouring island nation, Fiji, is going through hurricanes after hurricanes. So here's a report from FBC.
Widespread flooding due to TC Ana. Some ignore warnings to evacuate, and others say they didn't expect the flooding.
From the studios of FBC Suva,
Lambasa town and nearby areas were not spared by the floods yesterday as tropical cyclone Ana battered the north and eastern division. Residents could only watch as waters entered Main Street, flowed into shops and eventually covered the whole town. Hospital Road and the Botanical Gardens, which lie beside the Lambasa River, are also under flood waters. Families in Vunivaivai settlement and Natokamu settlement in Lambasa had to be evacuated to the Sukanai Valu barracks. They were brought to the army camp in boats with the help of RFMF engineers and corrections officers. Women and children alike, with their clothes drenched, are now taking shelter at the army camp. The settlements are located just beside the Ngawa River, which burst its banks early this morning. Families in Baitira village in Sianganga took precautionary measures and fled to a nearby evacuation center yesterday as TC Ana brought torrential rain. President Akhtar Hussain says none of the homes were spared by rising flood waters. Residents living in Sianganga experienced heavy rain and strong winds for most of the day. Those who wanted to help desperate neighbors were unable to move out of their homes. The Sianganga police post was also underwater. The same situation was seen in Dreketi as houses and roads were underwater. The Sianganga Health Center was also flooded. Many residents living in low-lying areas of Sianganga were evacuated by police. Severe flooding occurred in the Wainibuka River, affecting a number of nearby villages. Turanganikoro of Wailotua Village Vilikesa Tumbuitamana says their homes remained underwater yesterday evening after the Wainibuka River burst its bank. Josai Nanunga reports the water level hasn't subsided due to the continuous rain in the province.
Wailotua villagers says it was like watching their homes sink as water levels kept rising until in the end only the rooftops could be seen from a distance.
Wind speed is slowly dying out, but the rain continues. All our farms have been destroyed and the majority of our belongings have been washed away by the floodwaters. We are glad that all villages are safe, and I have been reminding the villagers to stop wading into flooded waters as it might rise again tonight.
Tumbuitamana says villagers first moved to the community hall for shelter this morning. However, the water level continued to rise at around midday, prompting them to move further to higher ground.
We normally go to the church and community hall to seek shelter when a disaster strikes, but this is a very serious case and we had to ensure villagers are safe. We pray that the situation will calm down later tonight.
So that's the update there from the floods in Fiji. And of course, we now there was a cyclone just before, and many community organizations have been raising funds to send assistance and relief to Fiji. Well, now all these floods, of course, the Western Division, the town of Ba as well, greatly affected with that as well. Well, right now, just before we go into the main feature of today, let's take a very quick message from one of our sponsors. As we know, without sponsors, we can't do this show.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And real estate is the world. And don't forget that every Wednesday we get the real estate update with Usha Chandra of GlobeNet Realty. And we bring to you all the latest that's happening, the trends, where to invest, and what is trending, and which areas are outperforming other areas and whatever. So right now, it's time to go to our feature for today. The feature for today is GOPIO Gold Coast and the Indian Republic Day celebration, and must I add and congratulate the committee and of course the leadership of Pradeep Garosia, and whose leadership they had a wonderful event, very well organized, very well run, and all the performers did a marvelous job, wonderful job, as you will just see in the feature for today. And of course, it is a time where there are restrictions still in place, so that had to be, the protocol had to be managed, and it was wonderful to see that it was shifted away from the actual 26th date. I mentioned that in my speech there as well, and I think that was a very, very wonderful gesture. As on Australia Day, we need to always appreciate and celebrate Australia Day first. So here's that feature. And all the guests there, invited guests. So right now we're moving into the main show.
GOPIO stands for the Global Organization of People of Indian Origin. GOPIO is a non-partisan secular global organization engaged in promoting the well-being of people of Indian origin and enhancing cooperation and communication between the Indian diaspora around the world. As GOPIO Gold Coast, we hope to provide a platform for Indians in Gold Coast to grow, connect and expand their social, professional and cultural networks and contribute to the community at large. On behalf of GOPIO Gold Coast, I would like to extend a very special warm welcome to our honorary guests and VIP for today. His Worship the Mayor of the City of Gold Coast, Councillor Tom Tate, and Mayoress Mrs. Ruth Tate, Honorary Consul of India Mrs. Archana Singh, Federal Member of Moncrief Miss Angie Bell, Queensland MP for Gold Coast, John Paul Langwood. Queensland MP for Bonnie, Sam O'Connor. Councillor Brooke Patterson from Division 6. Councillor Ryan Belden Longson from Division 7. Councillor Glenn Tozer from Division 9. Councillor Herman Voster from Division 11. President of GOPIO Queensland Chapter, Mr. Rakesh Sharma. FICQ President, Mr. Shyam Das. GOPIO Queensland Founders, Mr. Umesh and Ms. Usha Chandra. Acting Chief Police Superintendent, Mr. Jeff Sheldon. From Sikh Council of Gold Coast, Mr. Jagatjit Singh. President of Kannada Sangh Gold Coast, Mr. Preetham. And President of Hindu Association Gold Coast, Dr. Sunil Sharma. India Republic Day represents the true spirit of the independent India, and on this occasion, we will celebrate together with a display of varied cultural performances as a tribute to India, its unity and diversity and rich cultural heritage. As we begin the proceedings for this morning, I invite you to please stand for our national anthems.
Wonderful to see the young violinist doing the numbers.
Australians all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page and every stage, advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Bharat Bhagya Vidhata, Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Ujjala, Ganga, Vindhya, Himachala, Yamuna, Ganga, Ujjala, Jaladi, Taranga. Tava Shubha Name Jage, Tava Shubha Ashisha Mage, Gale Tava Jaya Gata, Jana Gana Mangala Dayaka Jaya He, Bharat Bhagya Vidhata, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya 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 He.
Vedic culture and the opportunity to learn about our rich cultural heritage via Hindu scripture classes held weekly for children on the Gold Coast. Children are taught shlokas and their meanings, stories from the Puranas and their significance in today's world, understanding issues related to dharma such as ethics, reading and writing Sanskritam, and celebrating our diverse collection of festivals. May we kindly request that everyone please stand and remain silent during the chanting of the shlokas.
Salutations to Lord Ganesha, who has a curved trunk, who has a large body, and whose splendor is similar to 1,000,000 suns. O Lord, please make my undertakings free of obstacles by extending your blessings in all my words, always.
Pratunda Mahakaya, Surya Koti Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva, Sarvakareshu Sarvada.
I bow to Devi Mother Narayani, who brings auspiciousness and fulfills all the desires of her devotees.
Sarva Mangala Mangalye, Shive Sarvada Sadhike, Sharanye Trayambake Gauri, Narayani Namostute.
I bow to Lord Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva, who is the bliss of his mother Devaki, who is the killer of the demons Kamsa and Chanura, and who is the supreme teacher.
Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Chanura Mardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.
From the unreal, lead me to the real. From the darkness, lead me to light. From death, lead me to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace.
Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
May all be prosperous and happy. May all be free from disease. May all see what is spiritually uplifting. May no one suffer. Om, peace, peace, peace.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramayah. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschit dukkha bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
First up, I also acknowledged distinguished guests that are here today, and wonderful for Ruth and I to join you in the celebration of Republic for India, 72nd anniversary. There's one thing over the years India has influenced right through the ages our different cultures, and like no other, I can reflect on the time when I was a young boy in Thailand. When there's a public holiday, they would play Indian movies because it's the best way to watch your television. There's not much on. But I recall that when we sat there and watched, there's always fun dancing and music, and the good guys always get his girls and always trying. It's a little bit like the last test between Australia and India. That as far as I'll go on that. But you know, the Gold Coast is really a multicultural and diverse community, and we have about 7,000 people with Indian origin in our city, and no doubt over 6,000 of them would be doctors. I see a lot of you there. And as John Paul knows, being multicultural shadow minister, that the Gold Coast, really, we are so blessed to have people from all over the world, and 25% of the people of the Gold Coast are born overseas, and that's why we are a very welcoming community. And today, that we come here and celebrate the Day of Republic of India, I wish that congratulations on the celebration, and I wish that as we go through and recover through the COVID, that next year we're going to need such a much bigger place and so many people can come and join our celebration. Thank you.
Thank you to our Mayor, Mr. Tom Tate. We would like to take this opportunity to present Mrs. Ruth Tate with a token of welcome with some flowers. Thank you. I would now like to introduce a very talented duo, Devika and Meera Nair. These two sisters will be performing.
Acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Honorable John Paul Langbrook, Honorable Angie Bell, Your Worship, the Mayor Tate, Mrs. Tate, councillors, distinguished guests, I can see a lot of community leaders here, representatives of QPS, wonderful community leaders from the Gold Coast and Brisbane, Mr. Pradeep Gorasia and your dedicated GOPIO team, and the wonderful Gold Coast community, volunteers, performers, supporters of the Australia-India Friendships. On the 26th of January 1950, India was declared a secular, sovereign, democratic republic, wedded to the ideals of equality, liberty, freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. The democratic and eclectic traditions of India were reflected in the modern constitution that confers fundamental rights and liberties to each and every citizen. Indian democracy is the largest and, as time has shown, also the most resilient. It offers platforms and avenues to address the concerns and issues of its 1.3 billion population in a peaceful way within a legal and administrative framework. As we remember today the sacrifices of the many millions of Indian men and women who struggled for independence, we pay tribute to them by reaffirming our commitment to the philosophy of freedom and equality of all citizens, and to the methodology of peaceful struggle that crystallized under the leadership of the great Mahatma Gandhi. He took on the might of the British Empire, armed with only his moral conviction that each one of us deserved to be free and treated with respect. Friends, India has come a long way since independence and has earned the respect and admiration of the world across all sectors. During the COVID-19 pandemic crisis that unfolded during the past year, India has performed exceptionally well, with one of the lowest mortality rates and one of the highest recovery rates in the world. India has also demonstrated, yet again, good neighbourly concern for countries such as Bhutan, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Bangladesh by providing free vaccines, and also extended a helping hand to countries further afield such as South Africa, Brazil and Morocco, just to name a few, by providing commercial quantities of the vaccine, thereby demonstrating the age-old belief in the policy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. Through the COVAX alliance, India aims to save millions through an equitable distribution of the 2 vaccines that are being made in India. The World Health Organization chief, Dr. Tedros, has heaped praise on India for this amazing and great contribution.
Acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land that we have gathered, and pay my respect to the elders, past, present and emerging. Good afternoon everyone. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of His Worship, Mayor Tom Tate, Mayor Luke Tate, Federal Member of Parliament Angela Bell, State Member of Parliament John Paul Youngberg and Sam O'Connor, Honorary Consul of India Mr. Chana Singh, Councillors of City of Gold Coast, Active Chief Superintendent of Police Jeff Sheldon and Chris, community leaders, Gold Coast, Brisbane, distinguished guests, and dear friends. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the 72nd Indian Republic Day. Australia and India not only share this special day on 26 January, but also share the love of a good game of cricket, like the one in Gabba. We just witnessed an amazing game, a game that highlighted the attitude of determination and perseverance. GOPIO Gold Coast is the voice of Indians living on the Gold Coast. It does not matter if you are from north, south, east or west of India. It doesn't matter if you are born in South Africa, East Africa or Fiji like Umesh Ji, our founding president of GOPIO Queensland, Australia or Malaysia like myself. We share the same Indian heritage with pride. I would encourage everyone here of Indian origin to become a despite the fact of COVID restriction since last year. We organized a couple of events like Indian Republic Day in January, International Women's Day. We did grocery packs for the needy students. We also had an AGM, a networking event for business leaders, professionals and community leaders at Hilton, organized a walk at Broadbeach for Mental Health Week, and we ended the year with a charity dinner for the Homeless Youth Project of Gold Coast. We'll be organizing once again an International Women's Day event on March the 14th. So ladies, please block the date. And also International Yoga Day in June. We will seek the support of the Council to have the International Yoga Day part of the Gold Coast Health Initiative. All these events would not have been possible without the support of sponsors, members, and hard work and passion of the committee. Allow me to introduce them. Vice President Mokhtar Singh at the back. Second Vice President Pushpinda Oberoi, who happens to be the past president, also the founding president of GOPIO Gold Coast. Secretary Madhuri. Joint Secretary Manish Saini, who was managing the stage. Treasurer Dr. Rajendra Naik. Assistant Treasurer Priya Daga. And Youth Ambassador Shri Baluja, who is managing the PowerPoint there. I also like to acknowledge the presence of our two other founding members. I think one is come, Rajiv Haikrawal, and you would have noticed that they have encompassed their rich Indian heritage and culture and combined with the right Australian attitude, the best of both worlds. Our special thanks to our sponsors and performers for today for an enjoyable afternoon. I would like to conclude by thanking everyone from the federal government to the state government, city council, police and health personnel, and the civic-minded public for keeping us safe during this pandemic. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you.
जान से प्यारा है सबसे प्यारा गुलिस्तान हमारा है भारत हमको जान से प्यारा है सबसे प्यारा गुलिस्तान हमारा है सदियों से भारत भूमि दुनिया की शान है भारत माँ की रक्षा में जीवन कुर्बान है भारत हमको जान से प्यारा है सबसे प्यारा गुलिस्तान हमारा है प्यारा देश हमारा है।
Today is India's Republic Day, and it is wonderful to see that all diverse communities come together to celebrate, join in this celebration, which is a wonderful celebration. Of course, we say that with Australia, on Australia Day, because it's the same day, the 26th of January, a wonderful and a very special day. So, I think for GOPIO, the Gold Coast, having organized it on a day away from the 26th, I think that is very good, because we are in Australia. We need to celebrate Australia Day as well, together with our counterparts. So, it is a wonderful gesture that we are celebrating it today. But once again, my well wishes to the chapter, and it gives me extreme pleasure to see chapter flourishing and under the leadership now with Pradeep Garcia, but also wonderful to see that the founding members are here as well. So their support is always important, And I saw that even on the program that the current committee, but of course the founding and the past members' names are listed there as well. That is very important. We should always progress forward, but we should never forget where we have come from and the people who have been there and supporting. And a very special note to our councillor, Archana ji, your presence here really means a great support to the GOPIO Gold Coast Young Chapter. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, all of you, for being here, and well wishes to the community and of course GOPIO Gold Coast. Thank you. And there you are. That's the program in brief from the Indian Republic Day celebrated by GOPIO Gold Coast. And as I did mention, that it's a very well run and very well organized. And I'd like to thank Shruti Khattar for that last clip of my speech, because my camera I think probably ran out of battery by that time. But anyway, moving on, it's now time to take a very quick look at functions and events happening right here in Brisbane. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk about GOPIO's India Day Fair fundraising dinner, which will be held at Michael's Oriental Function Centre on Friday, February 19th from 6:30 p.m. As we know, India Day Fair is a big event, and it takes a lot of effort and funds to host that program. So we need the community support for that, as we know that the event is hosted completely free of charge. Entry is free to everybody. So with that, there are a lot of costs that are escalating over the years. So we need to raise funds to host it, to pay for the services that we hire, and of course all the other things that are incidentals cost to that, and it costs quite a bit to host that. And this is one time we need your support. This is when we reach out to the community to say, hey, come out and show your support for the event. Part of it is covered by government grants, and of course never forgetting our sponsors who make that event possible. But of course we do need funds to for hiring of the venue, hiring of the equipment, hiring of the stalls, and there's many other associated costs, so that we can do it in a safe manner, and there's so many things that are considered to be part of the cost, and that's why we reach out to the community at this point in time asking for your support. So ladies and gentlemen, once again with that, it's time to say goodbye, and it's been wonderful having your company as usual. Always so good to see you. Look, I've mentioned that if there is anything that you'd like to discuss on the show, please do contact us, and we'd like to get you onto the show as well and talk about that. And yesterday's Music Junction, which was very good, we loved it. And this month, well, it is the 1st of February, so February is the Valentine's Day, so maybe our Music Junction, we might theme it around that as well. And if you would like to be part of that, all you need to do is contact us. And if you have any functions happening in your community, if you have any events that you need to talk about, or if there is any topic that you'd like to discuss about that, we'd like to have you on the show. We're trying to have as much local content and as much live coverage and as much of our own content as possible, because all other the news everyone gets on the news feed and everything themselves as well. So we would like to keep in that way, and also trying to bring to you some original contents that we can produce locally here. So once again, wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your company. We'll see you tomorrow. Until that time, please enjoy the rest of the day and most importantly, stay safe.